This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
I'll just say this. The first, I remember when they announced the first Venom and it felt so like, oh man, like this is another Sony movie. This is Sony's opportunity to franchise Spider-Man without undercutting probably effectively undercutting the MCU, their partnership with the MCU. But they ended up making Tom Hardy. He's a very good actor, but to play kind of the leading man and a thing like this felt a little bit strange. But they ultimately did in the first movie. They made a decent film. It has overtones of an early 2000s kind of like the Punisher type like Marvel movie that is there. Daredevil, like some of that really just bad kind of outdated superhero stuff. But first of all, the CG on Venom looks super good. Venom looks really good. That makes a big difference. But the big thing is that they got this, he's a symbiote and it's a buddy comedy because everybody else that Venom infects dies. This dude doesn't die. So they're friends. And so so in the first movie, it's all about them finding that bond. And then by the time that they kind of are well integrated, then that's how they realize their power. So that's actually, I think, a kind of a novel concept for a superhero movie, which is like two power sources that are at odds and then have to kind of come together. I guess it's not that novel. That's like, like Justice League. We have to find a way to work together. But instead, it's kind of like inside the body, which is interesting.
The line between good and evil is across every human heart.
Right. Exactly. But they also found somebody amazing. I don't know who the dude is, but they've got this incredible voice for Venom, and he both is Venom when he takes that form, and he's the inner monologue. He's the kind of devil on the shoulder of Tom Hardy the whole movie, and so he's just like begging to eat brains the whole time, and you can kind of you feel the kind of sweaty like get away from me, like this thing wants to eat brains.
I haven't seen Venom. It's not just Tom Hardy doing a monster voice.
I don't think it's him.
Okay,
maybe it is. It sounds great.
Like if I was pitching the movie, I would just have Tom Hardy do a monster voice,
which is what the Bane voice.
Yeah,
it's me, Venom.
Of course. For you,
want a cookie? But the second movie, which when I watched it, I was like, ugh, fuck off. I was like, why am I watching this? But now I've thought about it. I'm like, you know what? Much like the first film, yeah, it doesn't have a lot going for it, but it has that thing going for it, which is this thing of these two. So by this film, they're already integrated and they're buddies. They're roommates now. They're roommates. That's really, they're best friends who have a big fucking fight, and one of them breaks the other's nose and he walks out on the other. And there's an incredible scene where he finds out that Michelle Williams is going to marry this other guy because they haven't spoken for a few years. And Venom just starts like spazzing out inside of him when he's finding this out. He's like, I can't believe she would do this to us. And then like they go for a ride. They're driving and he's like, you can do better than her anyway, buddy. And he's calling him buddy and stuff. And he's like, well, what would you know? You're just an amoeba. And he's like, I'm going to let you get away with that because I know you're hurting right now. And the next morning he's popping, you've seen this in the trailer. He's popping out of his body. He's making him eggs and stuff. And he's like, you say tomato, I say tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. And the Monster Inc. is like massaging Tom Hardy's shoulder, and he's like, come on, buddy, you have to eat something.
it's pretty sweet. I don't know.
It's fucking funny. Now then there's this whole thing with Woody Harrelson is Carnage that doesn't work particularly well. He's a serial killer, well, here's a blast from the past. Woody Harrelson and a female companion are serial killers. Does that remind you of anything?
Yes.
So it's natural born killers if he got the Venom power. So whatever, it's Woody Harrelson as a villain. It works, I guess. But then I'm like, no, unlike Ghostbusters, where I'm like, okay, this is respectable enough, and then it becomes deeply unrespectable. This movie is like not that respectable, and then actually it sticks the landing. Like, no, that actually thematically does hold together, which is even though the Carnage is younger than Venom in this, so he's more powerful. They're both aliens. They're both these symbiotic aliens. Venom, so Carnage basically wipes the floor with him, and Venom's like, I need to tell you, like, we're not going to be able to defeat him. But Carnage and Woody Harrelson don't get along. They're not symbiotic. They're fighting each other. They have different interests. In particular, there's his female companion. It has like a mutant power where she can do a scream, and the screams like that, like really high pitch screams, hurt the alien. And so like they're arguing about the lady the whole time, basically. But Venom and Tom Hardy are like, oh, that's the difference, is that we're integrated. We are symbiotic. And so that's what allows them to defeat them, is that they can work together. And so after they have a big breakup where they hit each other and they're like, like, I want you out of my apartment right now. They come back together and decide to be bros. And it pretty much works. It's not very good, but it is good.
Yeah, I just looked it up, and Tom Hardy is the voice of Venom.
Shit. Well, there you go. Yeah, there were times where I was like, oh, wait, is that him? Yeah, well, it's great then. Way to go, Tom Hardy. You sound amazing. And then there are spoilers. I hope you don't mind.
I don't care.
There's a post-credit scene.
Of course. What? No.
And it's Venom and Tom Hardy are watching TV, and they find out that Tom Hiddleston, that whatever the kid's name there, that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So they bring the MCU into it, which up to this point the two hadn't intersected. And so I think with Mobius coming out, which intersects with Michael Keaton, so there's like going to be kind of a Sony branch off from the MCU, which feels very Netflixy to me. Feels like it could get confusing, like non-canon MCU.
Yeah, because the new Spider-Man's coming out soon. They have all sorts of old Spider-Man villains in there.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it hasn't even really started yet, and I'm getting pretty sick of the multiverse shit. Yeah,
they played the preview for Spider-Man during the Ghostbusters thing, and I was overwhelmed after the preview, because I was just like, there's the lizard, there's the sand guy, just like all being thrown at you. It feels overwhelming.
Because at this point, we've had there's Loki, there's WandaVision, now there'll be Spider-Man, then there'll be Doctor Strange. So that's just Marvel. Then there's the Venom element of it and the Mobius element of it, which confuses it further. Then there's just in general, there was the Berlantiverse for the CW DC shows. I never watched it, but I was aware of the fact that they did a Flashpoint thing there where, Smallville Superman showed up, and they hinted at Michael Keaton's Batman, but there really is going to be Michael Keaton's Batman in this new Flash movie.
Yeah.
Not, will they someday try to tie in like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker and the new Batman? I'm
sure they will.
Will they try? So that's going to be multiversey. I'm just like, enough. You don't need to make everything exist inside of a continuity, a cosmic continuity, do you? Stop.
Yeah, I feel like, then it gets too comic booky, which those are already too hard to follow. I know they're based on comic books, but the multiverse stuff is cute for some things. Like I liked, was it Into the Spider-Verse? That's pretty fun. Oh yeah,
and then there was that, right? So there's yet another but yeah, as a standalone kind of, that was like we are all Spider-Man. There's kind of like a theme to it.
Yeah, if as a self-contained, cartoon and story, kind of like those Warner Brothers things, those Batman movies, when they're a self-contained thing, it's palpable. But when it's so like you're bringing it into every single movie that you're getting into, it can get with Loki, and I know the What If series does its own multiverse.
What If is another, and this is beyond me. I've heard rumors that they're going to try to bring some of that stuff in. I'm like, really? Don't try to tie it all together. Let some stuff just be free floating. I remember there twice now, variations on the Ninja Turtles have done like multiverse stuff where the old series met the new series. And I get that's cute as a special event movie where you know, it's like, you're not trying to actually tell a story that makes sense with time travel and shit. You're just kind of, it's all, you know, it's a big wink. That's like, well, wouldn't it be cool if the old ones met the new ones? Here it is. Thank you.
Yes.
Almost like a what if issue of a comic where you're just like, it's just so I can draw a cool comic book for you.
Yeah. Or even the What If series, I liked it, but let's leave it its own thing, you know?
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.